Welcome back to $2 Garage, and today we're here for a review of this 2023 Ford Maverick Hybrid. I also need content, so it's convenient. I've driven this enough that I now feel that I can take some comments and basically have a go at reviewing it, so let's get started. To be clear, this is a truck. If you run the VIN, it says it is a truck. However, this is the hybrid, so it is front-wheel drive. It is not the traditional layout, and hello BMW driver. The first thing you will notice is they come in all kinds of trims and sizes and all kinds of prices. This one is a Lariat, so that I believe it is the second highest trim, and it has some nice stuff. We don't get steelies. We get these alloys. I don't think they're the best looking, but they're on there, so who cares? And it is a 2.4 cylinder, 2.5 liter, 4-cylinder hybrid. Other than this lovely orange, let's see what's in the bed. Nice and supported. It has a bed liner in it, 120 volt plug, and a storage cubby for activities. When we roll up the tonneau cover, we see a bed that has been used, indeed, and it holds stuff. Now, are you gonna bring this, or you gonna tow 10,000 pounds of it? No. You're going to take this to Home Depot, you're going to put a TV in it, you're going to haul a quad, all of these things. And for that, it does fine. I've towed many engines with this. I've towed wings, I've towed body panels, junkyard runs, you name it. It's done pretty much all that stuff with flying colors. What is it like to live with, to sit in, So let's talk about the interior. First of all, another fun thing with the fun exterior color is the fun interior color. Of course, this was an option, but it's so fun seeing interior that isn't black leather trying to copy Audi or Mercedes. These seats themselves are very comfortable and adjustable. This goes up and down. For our sound system, we have the lovely interior trim color here. We have a B&O sound system, which isn't bad. Noise insulation is also not that bad, considering what it is. Let's talk about everything else other than the seats. So here we have a nice blue and tan and bronze dash. Again, nice to see some colors. We have a digital display. And we have the Ford chime, thank you. And we have a mix of digital and physical gauges, which I do enjoy. We have a giant screen, which has many options. So all kinds of things to tell you for towing, which I've covered in a previous video. Over here, we have these controls. My only complaint is these are a little difficult to reach because of, well, you can see the lack of space. You can't. The interior quality itself is fine. It's a truck. I don't expect it to be a luxury car. It is a rough, tough plastic, and it genuinely feels like it can take some weight. We have typical mirror controls. This is just out of any other Ford with this nice bronze touch. And as we can see here with our door cards, it's a truck, so you have plenty of space to store all the things. We have a glove box, which is a glove box. Of course, we have a sync screen. It is the glued-in tablet, and that is where the upgrade will go whenever they do the facelift. We have some basic controls. It is Sync 3, so it is a little laggy, but that is expected. Down here, we have vents, which do vent things. Here we have your dual-zone climate. It works fine. It does all the things. All the buttons are straightforward and simple. Under here, we have our Android Auto Apple CarPlay plug. I do not have an iPhone to test Apple CarPlay, but Android Auto does function on a cable, and it works well. We have a phone charger, storage, and a place to put your phone if you're not charging it. And of course, you have the Ford knob, parking brake, your modes. Now, let's talk about the modes you have. So you have normal, tow, slippery, eco, sport, normal. All right, back to normal. Now, obviously, Everything feels okay. Obviously, it doesn't feel very nice because this is ultimately a sub $40,000 vehicle. This one's nearly fully loaded at below 40,000, and this isn't a bad package at all. These speakers sound pretty good. I would say I'm no audio expert, but they're on par with the BMW, so that's not bad. Here we see, they know the truck audience very well. A 20-ounce cup of coffee sits perfectly fine in there. Just to show you for reference, this is what the Android Auto setup looks like. I'm sure it's the same in every other Ford, but if you don't have one or you haven't seen it, now you have. Here's your music, there's this. I'm sure you can customize it more, but this is fine by me. We will now do an audio test with some classical music because it's probably old enough to be copyright free. Now complaints, because there are some. At the end of the day, this is built to a budget. This annoys my OCD. There is panel gap. That is really annoying, at least to me. Most people don't care. And I see stuff like this. You're seeing a wear mark right there. This plastic will develop that over time, and as this truck ages, it will do that, because this only has 9,000 miles on it. Also, I see things like this breaking. Now, I'm sure that'll be mended in the future, but that is called a future problem for a reason. Let's take a look in here. This feels nice and sturdy. Again, all of this feels quite nice for what it is. Here we see a nice cavernous glove box and a nice leather pad to put your arm on. Now, here we see we have a back seat, and let's sit in it. Let's see what it's like. Okay. Not adjustable. You've got cubbies back here. Same plastic surface. It's definitely not as comfortable, but it has the same aesthetic. Here we see we got a pop-down cover. Cup holders. This is actually from the back seat of my Focus. It's the same part. And down here we have a USB-C, USB, and 120 volt. Again, look, I'm 5'11", and it's a little tight, but I got room. So this is perfectly fine. You could put the kids in here. You could put the stuff in here. You could put the relatives you don't like. They may be only mildly annoyed. Overall, I would classify this as really not bad whatsoever. Over here, we have some headlights, and they light the road up very well. Let's pop the hood, see what's underneath. This is the motor. This is a Mazda 4-cylinder. You may recognize this from a lot of early 2000s Fords. It's a pretty dependable engine, and it looks kind of easy to work on by modern vehicle standards. I mean, it's not cramped in there like the Focus. Here we see some hybrid stuff, and overall, it isn't bad. The electric motor makes it much more viable to use. And in all honesty, for modern vehicles, that doesn't look too bad to work on. Let's talk about some features I don't like, because, well, they exist. The first one is Sync 3, which is lagging. Let's see if it does it now. It probably won't, because the camera's on. Yeah, of course it's working now. The camera's on. There is a few issues. These stocks feel cheap. They even feel cheap for its price range. If this was a $25,000 model, okay, but this is nearly 40. So one thing that annoys me is this. So you see that button right here? That is variations of lane assist. And luckily you can turn it on and off, but it's really annoying. A good example would be if you're driving down the road and instead of having a solid white line or there's a dotted line, it will try and veer towards the dotted line and try to drive you into everything in the other lane. Those driving assist, I understand they're federally mandated. They have to be here, but I just find them annoying. Now, what is it like to drive? Well, the steering it's modern car electronic power steering, so it's light. You don't feel anything. I don't like this, but this is basically every modern car, and I understand why normal people like this. This isn't an enthusiast car. This is going to get you from point A to point B, and it does that very well in a comfortable and smooth manner. Let's talk about MPG. Yes, you're seeing that 44.7. I've gotten over 50. It's just I've been doing a lot of highway speeds where a lot of stop and go highway speeds, so it's a little bit down at the moment. That being said, it is perfectly fine. And apparently my dad's gotten it over 60. The highest I've gotten is 51. I'll throw him. Now, what is it like to drive? The best way to describe it is if you've ever driven a minivan or like a transit delivery van or something along those lines, a big front-wheel drive thing that holds stuff, that's the best way to describe it. Going into a corner, it feels like a bit like a hot hatch, and then all of a sudden that weight just comes down on it, and yeah, a little torque steer at the traction control wasn't such of a nanny state. I actually don't mind nanny state traction control with this, and it's fine. It handles okay. Again, there's really no reason to drive it aggressively. There's no reward. But other than that, it drives perfectly fine, and again, the weight actually helps it when you're driving in a normal manner. We must address the recalls. I believe there was a taillight recall, which was taken care of. They just spontaneously died, as LED lights sometimes do in mass production. No big deal. Hasn't happened to us. Got fixed anyway. Anyway, they're free. And guess what, guys? Recalls happen. Recalls have happened before the age of internet sensationalism. And recalls have happened before the year of 2010. Again, it's no big deal. You just get it done. I mean, sometimes bad engines happen. Again, it's all covered for free. So who cares? And if you're that concerned, go buy an old Toyota. So in conclusion, the truck purists are not going to like it. It does not have the trinity of V8 rear-wheel drive if you're really into the Trinity manual. That being said, it's fine. The front-wheel drive is fine. There's no reason to drive it like a sports car. It's not. Handles like a big floaty. Think of it as a big heavy front-wheel drive thing. That being said, bed works, interior works, throw stuff in the bed. This is a replacement for something like an S10 or an old Ranger, what the Ranger used to be. Then the new Ranger is almost as large as an F-150 and almost costs as much too. That being said, perfectly fine. It's the homeowner's truck, the best way to describe it. And if you can get one that isn't marked up to hell and back, they're actually a really good deal. Plus, 50 miles per gallon is nice. So, anyway, guys, don't forget to leave a like, favorite, and subscribe. This is $2 Garage. Have a nice day.